Sheryl Swoopes, this is kind of what you get for kind of not jumping on the tide, jumping on the boat. You were supposed to go and elevate with this whole situation. Your broadcasting career, everything, Sheryl. Your podcasting, whatever you do, you're supposed to be elevating. But instead, you decided to show hate, very clear hate towards Caitlin Clark. Very clear hate. Right? And now this is kind of like what you get for.
Did you really think you could lie about Caitlin Clark for a whole year and keep your broadcasting job? That's the question nobody needed to ask Sheryl Swoopes, because we just got our answer. She's been officially removed from all WNBA broadcasts for the 2025 season.
It looked like you got fired, bro. It looked like she got fired. I just got to keep it real. It looked like she got fired.
The firing single slip up. This was the culmination of a calculated campaign against the WNBA's newest star, and the league finally decided enough was enough. Want to know what really went down behind the scenes in this video? We'll break down what happened, how she's doing damage control, and why she eventually lost her job. Are you ready? Let's go.
I won't be missing you broadcasting the games, because when you broadcasted the games, it was so hard for you to mention Caitlin Clark. How are you up there talking about, you kept mentioning, oh, the Indiana Fever are doing this. Oh, Kelsey Mitchell and the Indiana Fever. Oh, Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell and those girls are doing. Oh, you had such the hardest time mentioning Caitlin Clark's name. Why? I don't get it. I really don't.
Did you know Sheryl Swoopes has a pattern of getting fired? Before her recent broadcasting drama, Swoopes established a troubling track record that stretches back years, while her Hall of Fame playing career brought her well-deserved accolades as one of the WNBA's founding stars. Her post-play career reveals a consistent pattern of problematic behavior.
Loyola University basketball coach Sheryl Swoopes, she's under investigation, accused of mistreating players. College coaches not only under fire, but under investigation after reports that the majority of her roster has decided to leave.
The warning signs were blinding at Loyola University in Chicago. In July 2016, Swoopes was fired as head coach following a mass exodus of players that should have raised red flags for anyone considering hiring her again. What coach loses 10 out of 12 returning players in a single season? That's not normal turnover. That's a 5-alarm fire in your program.
She mistreated players.
It was the environment she created. I was belittled, humiliated, made to feel extremely small.
Head coach since 2013. Last year, 5 of her players reportedly transferred to different programs. And this year, a reported 10 of the team's 12 players aren't planning on coming back.
Former Loyola player Kate Sum didn't mince words about Swoopes' coaching abilities. Just because you're a great player doesn't mean you're a great coach. She seems to thrive off drama. Wherever she goes, the drama is. Other players described an emotionally volatile environment where Swoopes would cry during games and practices, threaten scholarships, and inappropriately share personal information. Great players don't automatically make great mentors, and Swoopes exemplifies this disconnect perfectly.
It wasn't about working hard and having fun anymore. It was about surviving.
The Lauren Hibbert situation particularly stands out. According to Hibbert, Swoopes pressured her to sign a medical hardship form, effectively ending her athletic career with false promises that she'd remain with the team as a manager. When Hibbert later discovered she wouldn't even travel with the team, the betrayal was complete. This manipulation triggered formal complaints and ultimately contributed to Swoopes' dismissal. Fast forward to 2024, and we see the same dismissive, unsupportive behavior directed at Caitlin Clark. During her now infamous February appearance on Gil's Arena, Swoopes couldn't even get basic facts straight. She claimed Clark was in her 5th college season. Wrong. It was her 4th, and that she took 40 shots per game. Wildly inaccurate, as Clark averaged 22. 7. These weren't innocent mistakes, but seemed calculated to diminish Clark's achievements.
Right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Here we go.
I know you like that.
Yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
Even more telling was Swoopes' dismissive tone when discussing Clark's record-breaking performances, saying, "So is it truly a broken record? I don't know, I don't think so." When pressed about Clark's WNBA potential, Swoopes declared, "Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now immediately? Absolutely not going to happen." The contempt was impossible to miss.
Ask me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
These weren't isolated incidents, but part of a year-long campaign that revealed more about Swoopes than it did about Clark. The pattern is clear: when others succeed or challenge her authority, Swoopes responds with hostility rather than support, whether it's college players transferring en masse or a rising star breaking records. Swoopes seems incapable of celebrating others' success without feeling threatened. This toxic pattern ultimately caught up with her at the Dallas Wings, where her commentary became too controversial, even for a league that typically stands by its legends. The consistent threads connecting her Loyola firing to her broadcasting removal paint a picture of someone who's never learned to adapt or grow from criticism. So what really happened with Dallas last year?
And obviously you guys remember last year when Dallas had to pretty much say, hey, you can't broadcast Indiana Fever game after the little comments and things you had the game before. Or something like that. Yeah, I believe it was that. And Nancy Lieberman was the one who pretty much confronted Sheryl Swoopes about the whole situation. And let her know, like, hey, you know, we got to keep it this, we got to keep it that. Keep it about.
The Wings broadcast controversy wasn't just about Caitlin Clark. It was about Swoopes making enemies in all the wrong places. When basketball royalty starts publicly calling out one of their own, you know something unprecedented is happening behind the scenes. That's exactly what happened when Swoopes found herself in the crosshairs of two of basketball's most influential voices, Stephen A. Smith and Nancy Lieberman.
You know basketball. You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop.
Stephen A. Smith never wanted to hold back his opinions, didn't just disagree with Swoopes. He dismantled her credibility on national television. During one particularly scathing segment, Smith directly questioned Swoopes' motives for consistently failing to acknowledge Clark's contributions to the Indiana Fever's success. Do you have any idea how that makes you look? Smith challenged, his voice rising with each word. How are you going to ignore Caitlin Clark? What made Smith's rebuke so damaging wasn't just his massive platform, but his pointed suggestion that Swoopes' silence about Clark was deliberate and unprofessional, especially considering her basketball expertise, should have made Clark's impact impossible to overlook.
Sheryl, since she was in college, I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993, took her to her first ESPYs. I've known Sheryl, I've coached her, have a lot of respect for her. I called her when Caitlin was still playing at Iowa and she had just broken Maravich's record. And it was all over the place, as you and I have discussed, that, you know, there was this quote by Sheryl that said, you know, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate.
That's what Nancy was all about. She was keeping it very, hey, let's bring this women's game let's bring it all together. Let's grow this thing together. And the question was talking about how older people or older players in the league pretty much should going about what's going on in the league. And Nancy knows Caitlin Clark is the biggest. She's got the eyes. She's got the fans. Let's not try to sink it. Let's try to get on the boat with her. And let's grow the game.
Cheryl's gone. Cheryl's gone. Nancy still got her job, though. Nancy still got her job. They got Sheryl built. They got Sheryl built. See? Sheryl was there last year. She ain't there no more.
Looks like the Dallas Wings have left off Mrs. Sheryl Swoopes on the broadcasting team for the 2025 season. If you guys remember, Sheryl Swoopes, she was on the broadcasting team last year. Right?
The team that I feel made the biggest moves, maybe even the best moves, that would be the Indiana Fever. I think the Indiana Fever went from just being in the playoffs last season to potentially winning a championship. How much stronger Caitlin got in the offseason. You know, she was in the gym working on her game. This Indiana Fever team, they have put the pieces together in this offseason And I'm excited to see what they're going to do.
I kept on saying it. I said, Sheryl Swoopes, you are going to find yourself out of the media so fast by how you're, I guess by how you're moving, how you're talking on other players, talking on other people's podcasts.